Lovejoy.
Mr. Hill, family. I'm all about self-care, and I treat myself at least once a week to this man I call friend, but he's more like family, Mr. Phil Hill of 118 Classic Barbershop. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing great today, man.
Let's jump in.
Have a sit down, man. Have a sit down.
Mr. Hill, this is my old wave place. They laugh at me at work. I come to see Mr. Hill at least once a week. That's on an easy week. On a bad one, I might need to see him twice. Mr. Hill has a unique story. We've known each other. Matter of fact, his cousin was my best friend growing up. I knew his brother, I knew his sister, I knew his mom and dad, I knew all of his family members. So he really does count as family in my world. Mr. Hill decided to do something different. A background in engineering, architecture, design, draftsman. He had many paths to a career, but he decided to be a businessman and an entrepreneur. And in that quest, he became a heck of a father, a heck of a husband, and a heck of a citizen. Welcome, Mr. Phil Hill of 118 Classic Barbershop. Phil, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Lovejoy.
Tell us a little bit about your path to being a master barber and being an entrepreneur. Something that you could have did differently.
Well, it all started with that old cousin of mine, Byron Turner. I mean, he started out cutting my hair. I'd only been to a barbershop once or twice in my life. And from then on out, I was like, man, I can do that. But I didn't know you can make money at it. I had no idea. So when money became an issue, the older as we got, down through school, you wanted different shoes and different things. I made a change. Started cutting my own hair and people started noticing it. The next thing you know, people started asking me, hey, can you do mine? And I'd be like, yeah. So I had no idea about how much I should charge because I didn't have a license. So I just said, give me $3 and we got it.
And
that's how that went right there. But as far as the barbering, man, I chose it because, I don't know, I couldn't stop. Every time I try to quit, people would keep bugging me. Hey, you cutting any hair today? You doing this? So I pulled out the clippers and dusted them off and got right back to it. Yeah.
Now, you, just from your personal background, you studied architecture. You're a heck of an artist. You're a draftsman. How do you marry the science of architecture, design, drafting, to the art of cutting hair?
I tell you how, Lovejoy. It's a clear canvas. When you walk through that door, I have a canvas that I have to work with. I have to picture that in my head as an artist. How do you want the curves? How do you want the fade? How do you want the top? And you blend it all together. And it works somehow or another. I don't know how, because I look at it as I'm still learning.
It's the secret sauce.
I have no idea, but it's got to be the sauce.
Now, you are a historian too, and you have studied greatly the history of the barber, especially the barber and the barbershop in the African American community. Relate to us a little bit, like some people don't know what the pole stands for what the barber pole stands for.
Well, as far as like the barbering in the neighborhood, it just became one of those things to where you were a neighborhood name. And when somebody needed an edge up or a trim, you were the one to call. Or else they were going to be waiting in long lines because back then they didn't have appointments necessarily set up in the barbershop. So you would go there and probably wait 3-4 hours, something like that. And me, myself, man, I was just like, I could sit at home and make a couple of dollars, to buy some new tennis shoes, Dad taught me that responsibility, so I just took it on and ran with it.
That hustle.
Yeah, but in the neighborhood, it was just, everybody knew. Call Phil, I can take you to Phil, he can get you cleaned up. And I was just a kid, and I cut hair off of my old metal high chair that we used when we were babies.
Oh my God.
I put a board across it, and they sat on that board, and I caped it up. My mom made me a couple of capes with just basic cloth material, and it just went from there. And barbers, as far as the history of them, they did a whole lot of stuff. They were doctors, they settled disputes, they helped people, gunshot wounds, different ailments and different stuff like that, bloodletting, pulling teeth, dentistry, but I didn't go that in depth with it.
Well, the barber still remains a central focus in the community and the barbershop. It's a safe place. People come to meet, to talk sports, to talk politics, to talk social ideas. You, in the history of this, are very steeped in tradition and history. Phil, what blows me away is your collection of antique sewing machines that you keep.
Yeah.
But you also have a unique picture we're going to show of where you took training at a barber school here in Amarillo. And it was a traditional picture of the guy who owned the store, and some 30-something years later,
there was some guy in this chair actually cutting somebody's hair, a patron's hair, and it had the exact mirror behind it, the exact chairs behind it, the exact stations behind it. And I looked and I said, hey, I have one of those. And of course I went in the early 90s and under JB Funk at West Texas Barber Styling. I found that picture and compared it and put it next to the other. Is the same picture, same place,
walking the same
just
steps.
A different time.
Different time. COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people. As a business owner, you had to rethink your business model here. What changes did you have to adjust, and was it difficult, hard, scary?
Scary, it was. Difficult, it was, because they tried to make you kind of feel like you were breaking the law. When we're here in America, we're supposed to be able to work freely. And I took it under my wing as far as being safe for people, but I still had to keep my business going because I didn't want to jump into all of the loans and different things that others partook in.
And let's make this clear, you didn't take any of those people.
I didn't take anything.
No.
I survived on my own.
Survived on your own. Just
with a short crew.
Reinvented yourself.
Well, you know, my crew was already gone because some of them had different lifestyle changes that they had to do in their lives. And so I hadn't gotten back to rehiring the booths out yet. And it happened to be just me and Pat. And so what we did was we just sanitized the place, and we only had 1 or 2 people in here at a time. And I was pretty much prepared to protect my place of business if someone came in and told me that I couldn't work anymore.
Like you said, it's America. You're supposed to be able to work for a living.
Yes.
When we talk about that, and we talk about the evolution of the barber, we talk about the evolution of you as a businessman. Your clientele, or how you see your clientele, is different because you've been doing this for a while and you have a certain status. Explain to people why you don't do walk-ins.
I have been in this business for so long that there's so many people that I have touched, and there's quite a few that I still haven't touched to this day and won't be able to touch them. I had to have it in my mind that I can't service everybody because I don't have enough hands. I don't have enough time. I've got 4 kids, you know, and a grandbaby, and they deserve some of that time. But I like to be able to go in at a set time, and I like to know exactly when my breaks are, and I like to know when exactly I'm going to be able to go home. Because if I don't, I'd be cutting hair 24 hours a day, and it's not worth the money.
And no matter what, how much money you make, you can't buy free time at the store.
No. But all of my people, they stuck with me throughout the COVID. I kept a full book. I kept them safe. I kept chairs sanitized, capes clean, everything. And basically, we just followed our protocol that we were taught in barber school. Sanitation was the #1 thing in barbering. And so as long as you follow those guidelines, people are going to be safe. I mean, COVID or no COVID, same thing.
Now, Mr. Hill, you've always, since you were a kid, have kind of thought 10 steps ahead. You're always looking around the corner. What do you see? What are you looking at in the evolution of Phil Hill and 118 Classic Barbershop?
Well, I kind of see it as I'd like to have a shop and keep a shop going for many decades. If my kids can take and just keep the shop going, that would be fine with me. But I'd like to retire out in the woods and just start doing a little fishing, a little hunting, and just enjoying wildlife. I want to be able to come out and watch the dew roll across the grass, you know, and stuff like that. See the sunrise. Being a barber, we don't see that too often because we're here before sunlight and we're leaving after it goes down. So, but I like to keep shop going and I like to stay in the barbering business. Who knows, the older I get, maybe I'll try to look into going to Austin and getting with the state board to see if they need any positions, you know, something like that. I've always thought about being an instructor, but it's mighty unfair that they made the apprenticeship invalid when it came to us, when we came down through the years, because me and a couple of other associates of ours, we'd have already been, you know, instructors because we've been in the game so long. But
it's corporate America.
It is.
You know how that works. Now, Mr. Hill, we talk about a barber, we talk about a haircut. Some would say it's just a haircut. Me, myself, my haircut's unique. And each hair that you cut is unique to you. How do you do that? How do you just not say, give them the number 7, tight on the side, flat on the top, round around the back end?
Well, some of these gentlemen that I'm dealing with, they have particular heads and you have to go with the shape of the head and fit that cut style that they're looking for to the head. You can't just slap any kind of cut on somebody and just expect it to work because it's not going to. So it's just kind of like, it's an artistic piece of creating shades and shadows and curves and lines and designs. That's what it's about.
And that's the marriage of that architect mind of yours, the math, the science, to that artistic side. When you do freehand drawing of your artwork, that's the marriage right there if you get to the connection. Last question for you, Mr. Hill. You've been a successful business owner. You're a master barber. You have a healthy and happy family. Why is that not enough? Why do you keep striving to the next plateau?
I've got to be able to leave my kids something to lean on. It's a trying time nowadays that we're living in. There's so much turmoil and chaos going on, and electronics are taking over. There has to still be something that you can do with your hands themselves. Your hands. Let's do work with our hands and not just electronics and electricity.
That's it.
Yeah.
A trained craftsman. I don't think some people realize that this is a long traditional craft and art. And you take it as such. And that's why you're important in urban Amarillo.
That's right. That's
Mr.
right.
Phil Hill, 118 Classic, barbershop, part of the urban Amarillo landscape, part of a long tradition right here.